Anbu. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join this conversation.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
So first, congratulations. You're part of the elite group of students who have not only successfully passed, but you've gotten into a dream company, as many would call it, which is Goldman Sachs. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So my first question to you, Anbu, is what got you attracted to the financial domain?
To the financial domain, I'll say like it started when I born, kind of like my father was trying to pass CA at that time. Like he was already in financial domain, and like my mother was the one like who pushed me towards financial domain. At the time, I didn't have much idea about it. I was just enthusiastic about it. I used to hear some art like CA. One wonderful thing about CA is it has this articleship concept for 3 years, and I used to hear stories of my father's articleship period, and it used to be very fun. So that got me in my childhood, and like once I got to know it better, uh, like during my 11th standard, 12th standard is where you get introduced to your subjects like commerce and economics. So like at the time, I was like, okay, I was fixated. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So it's like it started with family's encouragement, and it ended up being like once we get to know the subjects more, like it became more and more interesting.
Yeah, very interesting to know that. So, two key points I've learned from this answer. The first one is your positive influence from your parents,
Yeah.
but the second one is your clarity of vision very early in your childhood. So that
Yeah.
is a little rare to see amongst people. So, what advice would you give for youngsters, especially people who are studying 10th standard right now? What advice would you give them?
That's just like at 10th standard, you really don't know, like, like you will see people, but you really don't know what's their day-to-day activity in their job is like. Like you might see a doctor, okay, doctor is doing very well or engineer is doing very well, but what's their day-to-day activity be like and what they're going to do. So, people when deciding their career, they should think from that perspective also. They shouldn't be just thinking from the name. It's like what they are going to do every day in that particular profession, and whether they will be enjoy doing that. Like if you are someone who enjoys doing something with numbers, finding something from like analyzing some numbers and getting something out of it. Let's say you are a person watching cricket, you are like very interested in averages or strike rates, required run rate, something like that. Like that means you are interested towards numbers. And there are some other people who are interested in like looking at things, thinking too much about the small things. So it really depends upon that individual person, like what they like doing, and they should try to understand more about what's the day-to-day activity be like in each profession, and whether they will enjoy doing it every day, because it's not a matter of 1 day or 2 days. That's what you are going to do for your entire life. So it's better for people to understand what's the day-to-day activity be like, and whether they will enjoy doing it every day. So I think that's what people should think more at 10th standard, 11th standard, and again, like which subjects they are interested in, and those things come into picture.
Yeah, it's a very valuable tip that you've given. This is especially very useful for many parents because, like you said, at 10th standard, people are way too young to take a decision.
Correct.
So, parents need to really appreciate, understand their ward's interest and accordingly guide. But many
Correct.
people kind of they take a decision very early. They cement their decision saying that my son is going to do this. So, I think that's a
Yeah.
very valuable advice.
Yeah, it's
So,
like it's better not to fixate on something. It's and like a lot of times I think parents give a lot of leeway to kids also, like like do whatever you want, and like at the time kids don't have clarity of vision. Like one day they will say one profession, next day they will say another profession. They might be attracted by the salary their neighbor is getting. All those kind of things come into picture, but the main thing is like we need to tell them this is what your day-to-day activity will be for you the rest of your life, and whether you will enjoy doing that. That is kind of an important question, I think. We need to discuss while choosing which profession you want to get into.
correct. So your advice on finding out what the day-to-day activities is a good way to connect with with professionals who are working currently for so that students can get an idea
Correct.
of what their life will be in the future as well.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So did you start preparing for CA very early itself, Anbu?
No, even my school standards, like till my 12th standard was completed, I did not look into CA's course itself. Like I started with, I did CA CPT, At the time, it was just 2 months gap. Like now, I think they're once you complete in March, you have time till November. At the time, you need to write exams by June. So we had this 2 months gap after our board exam to prepare for the entrance exam. That's the time I started with CPD. Like there was no like I studied from 11th standard or something like nothing like that. Just school syllabus
If you
and
had
then
a if you had a time machine, and Bhuvan, if you could go back in time, do you think you would have started early?
sorry, I think my internet is slightly bad. I think, but I under yeah. One thing I would have done slightly different is uh, I would have liked to compare my CA syllabus with my 11th and 12th standard syllabus. Like more like lot of subjects were overlapping, and lot of things from 11th standard were part of my CA CPT. So like it would have been better if I did from 11th 12th if I just compared the syllabus little bit and did it. But like it won't make it will give you kind of I can say 10% advantage over a normal person. Like you can take every inch of advantage, but it won't be that much different. Like if you just concentrated on your school syllabus and then you are moving into your CA entrance exam, it won't be that difficult for you because it's morely based on your school syllabus. If you concentrated there, you can apply it here. But it will be better if you compare the syllabus and complete those portions in this course also. So it will be you will have a kind of added advantage over others. So you can do that, but if you missed out on that, you don't have to feel bad or like you missed out on something great. Like you can always catch.
Got it. And there are multiple institutes that you could have taken professional coaching from. How did
Correct.
you choose RR Academy?
Me choosing RR, it started with I think they conduct an accounting wizard exam for 12th standard students across Chennai. They conduct an exam. So my school was part of that program, and I took that exam as well. And then I think I scored 198 or 199 in that exam. So they have this ceremony where they call the people and they even encourage people to take CA. They give a career guidance there. So it's a good thing, and there they give discounts also for the people who scored high marks. That's how I got to know about RR Academy. And then while choosing like where to join after my 12th standard, when you look at the option, like it's better to join a place where you have some 100 or 150 people, not more than that. And other coaching centers where like it's like 400 people, 500 people, and it's slightly difficult going there, and those things and personal concentration won't be there. So RR Academy, I felt it was better here. And obviously the coaching staff is also vastly experienced. At the time we had a Sheshadri sir, LSS sir, like who are vastly experienced in the subject. So those things were also there. So those are the main reasons I chose RR Academy.
Very good. So good that you mentioned about the vast experience of the teaching staff. Many of them come with years of experience, practical experience, and that's very helpful for students. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, in my IPCC, we had Prashad sir who was practicing tax, and then we had Ganesh sir who was practicing indirect tax. So most of the teachers were practicing, and Sheshadri sir who was practicing law. So it was really helpful to understand from practical point of view those subjects. So they will be able to better teach you because they have seen those cases live. Like they are not specialized in teaching; they are actually specialized in the subject matter, and they teach those subjects.
So talk to us about the tips or strategies that helped you pass the exams successfully.
Uh, so, like main strategy is, I would say to in the class you need to be fully attentive. That's one important thing. And wherever you study, your class is not going to get you pass. It's like your commitment is the important thing. And with competitive exams, like not let alone CA or CS, even IAS or any competitive exam, however good the coaching is, the important thing is how committed you are. Unless like if you study CA because your parents told you, or like if for any other reason it's very difficult for you to pass, like you can pass CA only if you want to pass. So it's a subject like that. So the main strategy is again to put in hours, because like you need to put in at least 12 hours every day, and 8 hours will be in the class and 4 hours will be outside, and you need to revise the subject that is taught in the class every day. And one more, from exam point of view, the strategy is, I like to analyze question papers. Like before a subject is started, take a question paper. Like you won't have any clue as to what the answers are, but you will get an idea from which angle they are creating the question. So when you study the subject itself, you will think, okay, I should study from this angle because questions are expected in this way. Otherwise, if you just take a book will be for 400 pages. If you just study 400 pages, like you won't be able to, retain the 400 pages and answer the questions when it is asked from a slightly different angle. So the important thing is to understand which angle the questions will be asked. So you need to, look at the past question papers. That is one thing. And then you need to study appropriately. And whenever a subject was taught in class, you need to go back that day and revise that subject that day itself. And you need to have the continuous revision also. This is your day-to-day thing, I would say. And exam point of view, like I said, you need to analyze the question papers, and you need to take as much revision exams as possible. So revision exam is what will take you into that exam mode. Like how much ever if you study, unless you can't produce in that exam day, you will not be able to score marks. So to practice for that, you need to have revision exams. So in RR Academy, one good thing that happened to me was, even during my CPT, we used to have a lot of tests. And for IPCC, I think we had around 4 to 5 revision exams, which were corrected and given back to us with a feedback. And at the time also, like let's say we had around a group of 50 students for our inter exams. Only around let's say 10 people were actively participating in the revision exam, out of which 8 people have cleared the exam. Out of the remaining 40, only 2 or 3 were able to manage clear 1 or 2 groups. So like how much ever your institute is taking an effort, unless you take an effort to appear for those revision exams and actually do well, it is very difficult for you. So the important things is, like I said, revising the subject that were taught in the class and preparing from the question papers point of view. Like you should not cover the syllabus, you should cover how to answer the questions, and attending the revision exams. I will say these are the 3 most important things. And one more important thing is always trying to, answer from logic point of view, and try not to mug up concepts or structures. I will say that's one good thing about RR Academy compared to other institutes. In subjects like costing and FM and FR, other institutes tend to teach more like this is the format, you fill the format, you get the answer. And in RR Academy, I found it way more interesting because they tell you the logics. Like this is the logic. You don't have to mug up the format or steps. You be clear in the logic, you will be able to complete this particular sum or complete this particular balance sheet. So that is also one important thing. Like always try to approach the questions from logic point of view, not try to mug it up. So that also will be one important thing.
Yeah, those are very valuable pointers, like very useful, Anbu. Now let's come to the main topic, which is what really every student is aspiring to do, which is get into a really good company in a good position that earns good salary. You cracked it. How did you do it?
So getting into a company, the important thing is again is your marks, because when around 5,000 CS clear every time, they need to have some filter criteria to take uh, interviews of 500 people or 400 people. So for that, you need to secure good marks. That is the first thing. And the second thing is your articleship. In CA, what a lot of people tend to do is sometimes, even though they got good marks in inter, they will say, I want to concentrate on my final exam better and score an all India rank. So they will go for an articleship in a father's friend firm or a very local firm. Like you try to get into a medium size firm or a bigger size firm for your articleship, because your articleship experience is valued very well once you clear your final exam. I have seen cases where people have gotten all India ranks in the final, like all India rank 10th, 7th, but they couldn't get into a good corporate company because they lacked employable skills. So one important thing is to develop employable skills, like knowing how to getting into good articleship firm and developing technological expertise. Like that is a very key thing, I would say. Like CA Institute is again having these courses like advanced ITT, where they teach you so many skill sets, and you need to be very attentive there. It's not like just for the sake of writing my exam, I need to complete this course. No, you need to actually learn the Excel and all those things, because uh, even like now the interview questions are starting to come from that angle also, because you always work with computers in financial domain, and you need to have knowledge of computers and software in the computers. That is one important thing. So I will say the requirements to get into be filtered for a big marks in interest where they filter on, and once they filter, once you actually get into the interview, it's how you present yourself. So like most of your interview questions will be like from your CV, whatever you are presenting to them. So whatever information you are putting on your CV, you should be on top of it. Like you shouldn't put something glamorous on your CV, and when some question is raised on that particular line item, if you stumble on it, then it looks very bad for you. So however small things you put on your CV, you should be very on top of it, because questions will be from that. Like if you're telling them you have worked on a India financial, then the questions will be from India financial. So you should be good at that. So those are some things you should be very smart about, like what you are putting in your CV. And another important thing is the communication. Like you should definitely be confident. So you should at least try to, if you don't think you have that confidence, you should try to practice with your friends before interview. Okay, you ask me some questions, I will try to answer confidently. And even though like if you think if you're not that much good in English communication, you should be confident. And the important thing is making the other person understand what you're trying to say. So you should be able to do it very easily. So these are some things they look at the interview. So at the interview, it's mostly what you put on your CV, and how, whether you are on top of it, and how good you are communicating with that person, and your clarity of thought. Like sometimes people try to, when they don't know the answer, they try to say something in and around it, or like I have studied it, now I forgot. You shouldn't be doing those things. You should be straight away saying, okay, I didn't look into this particular part, I don't know the answer to this, I will read and get back to it. So you should be straightforward in those kind of scenarios as well. So those are some interview tips I can say to, once you get into the interview, what you can do to crack the interview.
No, brilliant pieces of advice. And one final question before we wrap up this conversation, Anbu, which is, what are your future goals, your vision in life?
My future goals as of now is, like I said, I am a person who is kind of interested in more in technology. So I am currently learning Python, which is a coding language, and it's very niche area where uh, you can automate lot of tasks in financial sector. Lot of tasks are repetitive in nature, because you are looking at some metrics, or you are looking at some data to arrive at like what those data points to, and those kind of things. So instead of doing every time you take a financial and take those numbers manually and do it, like you can automate those tasks. So I'm currently trying to learn automation and try to implement automation in my work. And my long term goal is to join either a medium sized firm, or even create my own medium sized firm where I specialize in financial automation, to help medium, like big corporates have their own finance, like engineering teams which help in financial automation. But for small and medium sized industries, we have, like currently this you can see a lot of this Zoho book. So many softwares are coming up for financial maintaining, but there is not much softwares available for financial management, where you get the, because in small and medium scale industries, people are concentrated on their business, and they don't have any specialized CAs. They have some one BCom graduate to maintain their books. And a lot of medium firms fail because they don't know how to manage their financials, and they don't know when to put a break. They always like, okay, let's manage, we will get fund somewhere, and they work on that way. So my plan is to create some type of automation tool and help those medium sized industries to manage their finance better. So that's what I'm working towards as a long term goal.
Fantastic. Automation is definitely the future. And not only have you chosen the right line, but you've chosen the right focus as well. So congratulations once again, Anbu. You've added tremendous value to all the viewers for this conversation. Truly appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
you.